For all your pastry, bakery and quality food, CK Restaurant is the only place to be. We do catering for birthdays, weddings and all related services. We have all kinds of local foods, American, European and even beyond. Come and have a taste of our local juice, ebe and other services. At CK Restaurant, customer satisfaction is our priority.
Are you thinking of owning your dream homes? EJ Investment is here for you. Secure our quality bungalows with 2, 3 or 4 bedrooms, or our story buildings 3 or 4 to 5 bedrooms at very affordable prices with flexible payment plans at our Sanyang Seaview Estate, where you can enjoy the cool breeze with modern infrastructure such as tar roads, covered drainage system, modern electrification with street lights, gated entrance with security posts, and social amenities such as gas station, shopping mall, medical clinic, park, schools, children daycare, and a lot more. Our dedicated team of professionals will keep the estate clean at all times, provide security and patrol team within the estate premises, install latest technologies such as CCTV, Wi-Fi, home network installation, solar panel, and power backup system. Also, check out for our additional home facilities and interior design service such as premium tiling, wall plaster, home landscape, fingerprint home lock, and a lot more. Visit our office at Senegambia Kololi Highway and get a free site visit tour, or contact us on 4464838. WhatsApp us on 3259220. Or you can visit our Facebook page or Instagram on EJ Investments. EJ Investments, we are first in properties.
Diwli lanni maro lanni
fop lanni
awa joni mi anda honno gerde ten e ngaldo sabu e ngaldo Ibrahima jonnal taw joni mi anda se yahay kapitiki nyawloden ha humpondire makko est ce qu'on non e warude
waden no
ane ko de Ibrahima ma ko to woni
mo Amerique
ko Amerique a woni kede humpitaki fi be musibe men baluwo be andanda kala ko wawda wonde e aduna si arrivi e juude mabbe a jonnay do dépassement Gambia har no weebi ayata kadi taw ko mbudi din no jawi walla no jippi be halanta ma ko kala ko falda ko reise sengo nyamete ili neppa maro basal pomme de terre kala ko rewi don a hendo to har no weebi kadi wona dum don tu be abbe jonnira e mobile phone siko dum kadi laptop kala ko wayrode di ay kasbawa be wawma jonnute kadi sa fala humpitade ko weebi ettu Google account ma joni data ton wada download app mabbe on ayay kala ko humpi may mabbe ton be weebi yama
ka wonda wo e aduna on
kala ko wawda
a jonnana e wondo ka leydi men Gambia do dépense
harano weebi yama si dum no fono nebi immo den joni mi do tama ka place mabbe jan
waden joni
iya heba ko fala
waden kisam.
And I have co-master of ceremony, who is Miss Matilda Mendy, who is the Deputy Executive Secretary. So the way we are going to do it is I will handle just briefly the national anthem and the prayers, and then I will allow her to go with us to moderate the part that has to do with the official opening statements. Once we are done with that, we will take a very brief moment to bring all the chairs and the desks down so that we will have a much better view of the screen where the statements, the presentations will now take place. And I'm sure you will understand later that none of the presentations will be done by a staff of the Commission. And this was deliberate because we wanted for every portion of that presentation to be done by the experts that has been assigned to do that task for us. And that, I think that is how professional we want it to be. And then we will have the opportunity for discussions before we do the closing remark. And a sumptuous lunch is awaiting all those who will be present with us up to that time. We want to make this a very quick program. We know how much all of us are busy, and we also know that we don't want to delay, especially those who have very high responsibilities and who would wish to be with us today. So without much ado, and without going to any protocol at the moment, my deputy will do that. May I kindly invite everyone to kindly stand up for the national anthem. Thank you. Please sit down. I think if we had had that done vocally or a cappella, it would have been much better. But anyway, thank you very much for that sound. We would now, Matilda, did we have anyone dedicated for doing the prayers, or do we do it in our respective ways? Okay, so we want to do it in the traditional way to make it quick. We want to pray in silence to bless the occasion. So please, let's pray in silence. Thank you. Amen. Okay, it is now my honor to invite the Deputy Executive Secretary, who is now going to take over to lead us on through the opening ceremony. And as I said, once that is done, we will take a very short break to bring all the chairs down for the members of the high table to face so that we can now start the presentation. Thank you.
Mr. General and Legal Secretary, representing the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, the Honorable Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Honorable Commissioners of the National Human Rights Commission, Honorable Speaker and members of the National Assembly, Honorable members of the Judiciary here present, the UNDP resident representatives, representatives of the Office of the High Commissioner of Human Rights, representatives of all other UN agencies here present, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, UN of the Gambia Bar Association, representatives of civil society organizations here present, venerable religious and community leaders, national human rights consultants here present with us, media practitioners, staff of the National Human Rights Commission, ladies and gentlemen, all protocols respectfully observed. Good morning. It is with great gratitude that I welcome you all to the launching of the National Human Rights Commission's 5-year strategic plan, website, case management database, the study on sexual harassment in the workplace, and the publication of a book commissioned by the National Human Rights Commission titled The Gambia as a Bastion of Human Rights in Africa, 1965 to 1994. Without further ado, I will take this opportunity to introduce the members of the high table. With us, in my immediate left, I have I'll start with our esteemed speaker, the Honorable Solicitor General and Legal Secretary, who is ably representing the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Hussein Tomasi. We have the UN Resident Representative, Madam Aissata Day. We have UNDP Resident Representative. We have the Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Emmanuel Daniel Ju. And we have the Officer in charge of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Mrs. Yvonne Marafakufa. You're all welcome, and thank you for accepting our invitation. I will now call on the Chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Daniel Ju, to officially welcome you all to this event and to deliver his remarks.
Thank you very much, Yvonne. I saw you coming. Matilda, for those welcoming remarks. The Honorable Solicitor General and Legal Secretary, Mr. Hussein Tomasi, representing the Honorable Minister of Justice, honorable members of the National Assembly present here with us today, the UNDP resident representative, Madam Aissata Day, representative of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Ms. Yvonne Masarakufa, representative and head of various diplomatic missions present, and of course, representative of the WHO present, my apologies, Desta, and represent the charge affairs of the Spanish embassy present with us also. You're most welcome. And the various diplomatic mission, their representative presence. I recognize the presence of the British High Commission with us and the others who are here with us. The head of representative of heads and representatives of various institutions who are with us, who have been invited. I welcome you all. Our consultants who are here, you'll be hearing from them. They'll be making presentations, some of them. Our esteemed commissioners present here, the Vice Chairperson, Commissioner Nyundudrami, Imam Babali, and the staff of the National Human Rights Commission present here. The media, ladies and gentlemen, and everybody who is present here, I welcome you all to this half-day event, which is organized by the National Human Rights Commission to launch some very important documents and tools that will greatly enhance the work of the National Human Rights Commission and strengthen our promotional and protection mandate. Again, on behalf of the National Human Rights Commission, I would like to express our appreciation to the UN especially, and here, let me be specific, UNDP, and also Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, who have supported us tremendously in various ways, including through the tripartite partnership agreement, which is managed by UNDP. Just for the benefit of those who don't know what this tripartite agreement is, it is an arrangement between the United Nations Development Program, the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, and the Global Alliance for National Human Rights Institutions, GANRI. This was established since 2011 to strengthen and promote coherence in international support for national human rights institutions. And we have benefited greatly. And you will know as we go through that, even this program, we owe deep gratitude to them for this program, this activity today for us being able to do it. We thank the UN for its continued support, which has enabled the National Human Rights Commission to hit the ground running. And the documents which we are launching today, as I said, is a result of your continued support. We remember when we started, we were hosted by the UNTJ office. These are our early days when we were crawling, and now we are walking, and I believe we have started running. So we thank you so much. But we also would like to register the support that has given to us by the government of the Gambia. The political will was there to establish a National Human Rights Commission, and under the Paris Principles, they have been giving us tremendous support. So we thank you. Honorable Solicitor General, please convey that message to the government. You will recall that the NHRC was established by an act of the National Assembly in 2017, and it became operational in February 2019 following the swearing in of the 5 commissioners. Our broad mandate is to protect and promote human rights. And our vision is to create a Gambia where everyone enjoys their fundamental human rights and freedom. Our mission is to promote and protect fundamental human rights and freedoms of everyone through law, policy, education, and partnership. But ladies and gentlemen, despite our core mandate, which is to monitor, receive, investigate, and consider complaints of human rights violation in the Gambia, and by so doing, communicate our decisions in the form of written reports to the government and all relevant institutions for them to take the necessary corrective action, and also to recommend appropriate remedial action to the government and seek appropriate redress on behalf of complaints. The NHRC also is mandated under Section 12 and this is important because it relates to the reason why we are here. We are also mandated under Section 12E to undertake studies on all matters concerning human rights, assist the government in formulating appropriate policies to guarantee human rights. I will not go through everything, but those that are relevant to perhaps explain why we are here today. Publish guidelines, manuals, and other materials to explain the obligation of public officials in the protection of human rights, to organize local and international seminars, workshops. I can hear myself.
You're online now, maybe that's why.
Okay. Organize local and international seminars and conferences on human rights issues to enlighten the public, to liaise and cooperate with local and international human rights organizations to advance the promotion and protection of human rights, to encourage the government, this is important, to review draft legislation which may affect human rights, to encourage them to ratify or accede to international human rights instruments, to encourage the government to effectively implement international human rights instruments and other agreements to which the Gambia is a party to, including through independent commentary of periodic reports to be submitted by the Gambia, and also to maintain a library and disseminate information and materials on human rights generally. So, ladies and gentlemen, our mandate is quite broad, and if you look at each of those mandates, it gives us a lot of work to do, and which we are doing. And today's launching of these documents and the tools that we have now started using, it's part of the mandate that we have been told to execute. Ladies and gentlemen, the Never Again mantra, which has been coined by the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, will definitely be our guiding principle. And as the TRRC wraps up its work and the NHRC continues its promotional and protection mandate, we are adamant to bring back a culture of rule of law in the Gambia following 2 decades of systematic human rights abuse by the APRC government under the former head of state, Yahya Jammeh. We have been in existence for just over 2 years, and despite the challenges we were faced in setting up from ground zero and even squatting at the premises of the UN, I believe today, with the support of the government, the support of the UN, the support of other stakeholders, we have registered some laudable successes in building a robust secretariat, which we have today developed tools, processes, procedures. We have conducted a series of capacity building initiatives for CSOs and law enforcement officers. We have conducted human rights awareness and education activities. We have established our complaints mechanism to receive complaints of alleged human rights violations. We have conducted mediation and resolved complaints of human rights violation. To this, I thank our stakeholders, those who have supported us, and also our staff. I will take this opportunity to thank our secretariat under the leadership of Dr. Barry, who has actually made all this thing possible. You are the technical team, you are the nerve center of our institution, and within 2 years, we have done a lot. And of course, with the commissioners who have been giving the strategic direction for this institution. We have also played a critical role when we have started doing that in scrutinizing bills presented to the National Assembly for enactment by using a human rights lens in order to ensure that bills are compliant with the Constitution and other international instruments ratified by the Gambia. Just recently, we were before the National Assembly to look at and have a serious discussion on the elections bill. And we have also looked at the disability bill, among other bills. And we will continue to do this since we are the premier state institution mandated with anything involving human rights in this country. We have also provided advice and guidance to the executive where required, especially on the modalities to curb the spread of COVID-19 pandemic by using a human rights-based approach in order to mitigate the impact on access to justice and its effect, and the most vulnerable members of the society. To that, we have been successful in convincing the government to decongest the prisons, and the president did exercise his prerogative of mercy, and many prisoners, over 125, were released, and will continue to do so. The Commission, we have just finalized our 2020 activity report, as well as our state of human rights in the Gambia, and it will be submitted today to the National Assembly as required by Section 33 of the Act. So honorable members, you will get the activity report and also the state of human rights report, which is a requirement. And of course, all our partners, stakeholders, will have a copy to find out and know what we have been doing in the last year, and also what is the status of human rights in this country, with recommendations to the government on the strategies they need to employ to improve the human rights situation in the country. These reports highlight the activities the Commission, the successes, the challenges, and the lessons learned during the year. And as I said also, it also tells you what we have discovered in 2020 and flag these issues for the government so that they will take the corrective measures. With the support of the UN and Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, through a very robust and consultative process, we've been able to develop our 5-year strategic plan, in which the Commission sets out appropriate programs to further its mission and vision over the next 5 years. When we started, as I've always said, we knew we were set up as a human rights. We had our mandate, but we were mainly activity driven. We were jumping on issues as they happen. But the strategic plan is giving us a strategic direction so that we'll be able to effectively and efficiently fulfill our mandate. And this is what we are going to launch today with the presentation of the consultants. And of course, again, I thank you, UNDP, Office of the High Commissioner, for availing us the resources to be able to get a very competent consultant, Mr. Sanadavo, who is present with us here today, who was able to take us through the process, which was a very consultative process. We involved CSOs, were also part of the process. UN was also the part. So it was not only us as an institution. We sent in questionnaire, but also when we were deliberating, we had outsiders who came in to be part of the process. So the Commission today will also launch 2 important publications, namely Gambia, a Beacon of Democracy. We got a consultant to look at where we were before. Our history didn't start in the coup d'etat of 1994. There was a Gambia before that. What happened then? And so that we can do a comparative analysis of where we went wrong, which the TRC is looking at. And as I said, we will run with the mantra, never again. It's always good to look at the past. So we will look at that publication also is out, and which we will share. The Gambia as a bastion of human rights advocacy, 1965 to 1994. It's important that we know where was the Gambia? How did we come to 1994? What happened in 1994? And then as we lead, we take the baton to make sure that the country gets back its culture of human rights. The launching of the website, and of course, National Human Rights Commission, we have been mandated to raise awareness, education, among all those things that I've mentioned. And that book also, it's out. You didn't provide a copy for me, but the copies are out there, and please be well assured that you will all receive copies of these in due course. Some of them you'll get today, but I don't want to give you our activity report until after it gets to the National Assembly. Then I'll give you one. Yeah. Protocols must be observed. And until, of course, the Solicitor General gets his copy as well. So I'm just concluding. Ladies and gentlemen, the overall objective of this launching today, therefore, is 1, to popularize the key documents I've talked about, and also the tools, the website, the case management system, to popularize them among the stakeholders and our partners, and thus enable the stakeholders and the public to be aware of the services that the Commission offers. And also, but this is very key, and this one I'm really referring to mainly to our development partners, to seek your support and collaboration so that we will implement our strategic plan. It is a comprehensive strategic plan which has a resource mobilization plan which is costed. It's a costed strategic plan. And please take your time, look at it, and see where you can assist the National Human Rights Commission. All the commissions that were born during the transitional justice processes are wrapping up. Unfortunately, we're here to stay. We'll be your darling. We'll be your darling. So please pick it up. Help us strengthen our institution. We have an institution which believes, and I think this is very key. Not only are we doing the work, if you look at the background of all the commissioners, we have the passion for human rights. So that has actually helped. I think even in the achievements that we have done, we have people who sleep, who think and dream human rights. Please help us in achieving this goal. In conclusion, I'll be there in 2 minutes, 1 minute. The 5-year strategic plan, it is not today my brief to go into it. That will be the consultant, but it has 6 strategic objectives which will help us achieve, we believe, help us achieve our promotional and protection mandate. But quickly, just to run through them, in conclusion, is it has 6 strategic objectives to promote and deepen a culture of human rights and fundamental freedoms, to enable people whose rights, that is number 2, who have been violated, to have access to appropriate redress. Number 3, to ensure improved compliance from the state on matters of human rights and access to justice. Number 4, to develop national human rights capacity to be a credible, trustworthy, and knowledgeable agent to advance human rights and equality. The 5th strategic objective is to enforce human rights within the justice system. And finally, 6 is to advance human rights by addressing poverty. Poverty is a human rights issue. The right to development is a human rights issue. Human rights encompasses civil, political, economic, social, cultural rights. Finally, and this is really final, as we begin to implement our strategic plan, starts this year, we will provide progressive reports on the impact by measuring progress and evaluating the outcomes of our work. We have just recruited an M&E officer to help us in this process. We are committed to retain our long-standing partnership and collaboration with all the stakeholders and to deliver our mandate effectively and efficiently. Let justice guide our action, and I thank you all for your attention.
Thank you very much, Chair, for warmly welcoming our guests and also for giving an overview of our mandate and function of the National Human Rights Commission, together with outlining some of the successful activities we have undertaken since inception. I will now call upon the officer in charge of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, Gambia, Mrs. Yvonne Marafa-Kufa, to deliver a statement on behalf of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights.
Thank you very much, Matilda. Honorable SG and Legal Secretary, Mr. Tomasi, representing the Ministry of Justice, heads of government institutions present, Honorable National Assembly members, distinguished chairperson, commissioners and staff of the National Human Rights Commission, members of the diplomatic corps, CSOs, the media and all partners present, UN colleagues, including UN representatives. I see present the UNDP resident representative and WHO represent. Here? Okay. It's off? Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, all protocols respectively observed. I stand before you on behalf of the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights, OHCHR, and the regional representative, Mr. Andrea Ori, who sends his compliments and sincere congratulations to the National Human Rights Commission on the launch of his strategic plan, website case management database, and the study research on sexual harassment in the workplace. As the UN's leading entity on human rights, the UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights' unique role includes the promotion and protection of human rights. Quoting from the National Human Rights Commission itself, the National Human Rights Commission seeks to boost human rights standards in the Gambia and to nurture a culture of respect for rights and freedoms guaranteed by the rule of law. Over the last years, OHCHR has supported the National Human Rights Commission, providing technical and material support, especially through the current Transitional Justice and Human Rights Project, jointly implemented with UNDP. Through this partnership, OHCHR and National Human Rights Commission have forged a deep relationship as we both strive towards the full realization and enjoyment of all rights in the Gambia. Ladies and gentlemen, The chair just reminded us just now that the National Human Rights Commission was established in 2017, a very short period. But in this period, we've already witnessed the Commission grow and perform its duties in a diligent and impressive manner. The Commission has, amongst others, contributed to the review of pertinent legislations, policies, human rights education, and conducted capacity building activities for various stakeholders, in addition to engaging with human rights mechanisms, including the UPR and Special Rapporteur on Truth, on the promotion of truth. The Commission has also conducted visits to places of detention and has fearlessly tackled sensitive issues in a manner that does no harm, but brings together relevant partners to discuss human rights issues, standards and principles such as non-discrimination, inclusion, and participation. During the COVID-19 pandemic, we have also seen the Commission provide relevant guidance related to the promotion and protection of human rights, especially the protection of persons in vulnerable positions. Today, we applaud the Commission in particular for the launching of its strategic plan, the website and case management database, and the research on sexual harassment in the workplace. Launching of these elements contribute towards enhancing the effectiveness, efficiency, and coordination of the National Human Rights Commission. We are proud to have supported the Commission through the OSCHR UNDP and Global Alliance of National Human Rights Institutions, GANRI, Tripartite Partnership, or TPP, to support the National Human Rights Commission in this area. Of critical importance is the fact that the preparation of the strategic plan was conducted through a series of consultative meetings between the Commission and key stakeholders, including civil society organizations and development partners, to ensure full participation and inclusion of relevant human rights concerns. Consideration of alleged human rights violations and complaints is part of the function of the National Human Rights Commission. Therefore, a well-developed case management system is essential in supporting the efficiency and effectiveness of the Commission in this area. We are glad to see the Commission with a secure, user-friendly, web-based database to support the timely processing and management of complaints, and with capabilities of producing thematic analysis and reports and real-time disaggregated data. The National Human Rights Commission is also addressing the issue of sexual harassment in the workplace to ensure dignity, liberty, security of person, and freedom from discrimination in the workplace, and especially protection of female employees, as research indicates that women in particular are victims of sexual harassment. The UN Guiding Principles on Business and Human Rights urges states to strengthen legal mechanisms to protect all people from violence and harassment, including in the workplace. It equally requires businesses to respect human rights by ensuring a zero-tolerance policy towards all forms of violence at work, including verbal and/or physical abuse and sexual harassment. The Commission's research in this area is pertinent as it evaluates the extent of compliance with international human rights obligations and national laws and policies, and subsequently provides a comprehensive policy on sexual harassment in the workplace for adoption by the state. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, allow me to express our sincere gratitude to the National Human Rights Commission for inviting OSCHR to this launch. We continue to be grateful for the government's support to the National Human Rights Commission. We are also grateful to see the various partnerships formed between the National Human Rights Commission and various stakeholders. We recommend and encourage continued support to the National Human Rights Commission, as it is critical that the Commission receives a full spectrum of support from the government, civil society organizations, and other partners in order to successfully implement its human rights mandate. To the Chair, Commissioners, and staff of the National Human Rights Commission, once again, we congratulate and applaud you on this achievement. Together with our sister UN agencies, We reiterate our continued support to the work and development of the National Human Rights Commission and look forward to continual collaboration. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Yvonne, for your remarks and for the continued support of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights to the National Human Rights Commission. Please also extend our thanks and appreciation to Mr. Andrea Ori and to all the staff of the Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights. I will now invite the UNDP resident representative, Madam Aissata Dare, to make her statement. Madam, you're welcome.
Honorable Member of the Parliament, Your Excellency, the High Commissioner, the British High Commissioner, Honorable Chairman of the National Human Rights Commission, Honorable Solicitor General, dear colleagues, representative of the WHO and representative also of the Spanish Embassy, the Charge d'Affaires, honorable member of the different institutions that are represented here, member of the community leaders, the women's leaders and organization, civil society, representative of the civil society, and of course, representative of the media. Allow me to first really join my colleague, and I would say twin sister agent who represent the Office of the High Commissioner, to first commend the National Human Rights Commission for this long list of achievements since its establishment in February 2019. In this, we all know how the National Human Rights Commission had a great participation in the Universal Period Review of the Gambia in Geneva in November 2019, and how the submission of its shadow report in the same year on the Convention of the Elimination of all forms of discrimination against women has been also a key achievement. The National Human Rights Commission during this terrible pandemic period has ensured the training of hundreds of security personnel on human rights matters, and started also contributing to the training of over 170 security personnel of the police, army, fire services, immigration, you name it. I would like to also highlight the fact that in collaboration of our, I would say, twin sister agency, the Office of the High Commissioner, and with various resources provided through the Peace Building Fund, but also through bilateral cooperation and partnership, for instance, with the government of Ireland and the TPP that the chairman just mentioned, has proudly contributed, UNDP has proudly contributed to many of the achievements that we heard this morning, including the establishment of the database and the commissioning of this important human rights report, and all the tools that have been shared with us a few minutes ago by the National Human Rights Commission chairman. UNDP is extremely proud in supporting the organization and efficiency of the National Human Rights Commission. And I'm personally proud because every time I stand along with the National Human Rights Commission as a human rights activist myself, who started her career in this field and was with Jainaba, who's one of the commissioners, not only participated in the 93 International Conference on Human Rights, but standing here in the Gambia, working with the African Human Rights Commission as on the draft protocol, the Maputo protocol. So you can understand my pride, but also my emotion every time I see all the way we came through, but where the Gambia stands today, where in '94 we could not even hold the African Commission Human Rights session anymore. We had to go to other countries to have those sessions. So this is really indeed a very important milestone, and I'm extremely proud to be in this historic moment present and deliver this statement. ladies and gentlemen, and Your Excellency, we also know that the National Human Rights Commission mandate is extremely noble, and especially during this historic moment of the Gambia, where it's going through a series of processes which are rarely simultaneous. And that also, these processes are going toward the socio-economic and political transformation of the country, founded in the principle of good governance, democracy and human rights, and rule of law. The fact that we have a permanent National Human Rights Commission that played and will continue to play an important role in consolidating the gains of these processes, especially the transitional justice mechanism and all the reform processes that the Gambia is going through, including the never again approach, is indeed, I would say, a blessing. And I'm extremely proud to also see my colleague and brother Desta, because most of the time the human rights are understood only as civil and political rights. And then I think the 15 months over 16 months we went through with the COVID pandemic show us how socio-economic and cultural rights are important. And the SDG Goal 3, which is related to health and well-being, is very important, because without a good health system, we really cannot achieve development. And thank you very much, Desta, to be here this morning to also show that human rights are not only civil and political rights. Thank you. So, as permanent human rights institution, the National Human Rights Commission will be one of the institutions that will be also very close to the population. And I think the stand that the National Human Rights Commission has already taken in having a no-harm approach, but also an education approach, is well recognized by everybody. So we will continue to partnership with all our UN agencies, but also to the National Human Rights Commission, to make reality the implementation of all these rights, which some need, for instance, localization in terms of translation into local languages, but also to face the understanding, because we all know, for instance, when it comes to women's human rights, I wouldn't say the explanation or the tendency that people are holding social barrier to achieve those rights. So there's a still long way to go in the Gambia and in many countries in general. But the fact that we have a national permanent commission that will be continuing to work closely with the population, and this is why the media will also play a key role in transmitting the right messages for the population to understand that having a good understanding of human rights is really a path to development and not the contrary. I would like to once again mention that the relationship between the UNDP and the National Human Rights Commissions go beyond the transitional justice support that we are currently providing. It is indeed the National Human Rights Commission is an important development partners in all areas of UNDP governance program, on rule of law, and most notably for this year on the intervention toward the free and fair elections. And we are very happy for this partnership. I would like to seize this occasion to inform you, ladies and gentlemen, that UNDP and the wider UN family in the Gambia is galvanizing efforts to strengthen the National Human Rights Commission, not only as agents of change, but also as an important consolidator of peace gains in the upcoming post-DRC Gambia. In this regard, I would like to reiterate the fact that UNDP will continuously work closely with the National Human Rights Commission to align intention and exchange ideas. And ladies and gentlemen, and Your Excellencies, please, I will conclude by thanking you all for the great collaboration we had, but also thanking the National Human Rights Commission for the strong collaboration and partnership we had so far, and I will reiterate our commitment to be alongside with the National Human Rights Commission, and which is here to stay, as the chairman just said, and support all the realization that of its mandate, vision, and mission, and overall the achievement of the 2030 agenda for the Sustainable Development Goals. I thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Madam, for your statement, and also for highlighting the importance of economic, social, and cultural rights. We thank you also for your continued support to the NHRC, and also in the execution of our mandate, and we also extend our appreciation to the staff of the UNDP. Okay, I now have the honor of inviting the Solicitor General and Legal Secretary, Mr. Hussein Tomasi, to deliver his statement and declare this event open.
Thank you, Matilda. I am here this morning to represent the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Mr. Dauda Jallow. Unfortunately, the Honorable Minister could not be with us this morning, as he is presently out of the jurisdiction. That being the case, he has delegated me to read his statement, and I will accordingly do so. Honorable members of the National Assembly, my lords, my ladies of the judiciary, Your Excellency, Madam Aissata Dey, UNDP resident representative, members of the Diplomatic and Consular Corps, the chairperson of the National Human Rights Commission, Mr. Emmanuel Daniel Diouf, honorable commissioners of the National Human Rights Commission, civil society representatives here present, members of the press, representative of the United Nations High Commission on Human Rights, members of the security services, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. And may I heartily also recognize the Executive Secretary, Dr. Barry, of the National Human Rights Commission. I'm sure when you hear me today talking about Montesquieu, Aristotle, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau having contributed to the literature of national human rights development, I'm sure I will touch your heart somewhere. Your Excellencies, throughout history, justice and human dignity have been very important to human development. These values can be traced to ancient civilizations in Africa, the Middle Ages, and in ancient Europe. We find the ideals of justice, human dignity, fairness, and equality virtually permeating all religious teachings, be it Christianity, Islam, Hinduism, or Jewish. And philosophers like Aristotle, Montesquieu, Jean-Jacques Rousseau, Thomas Hobbes have all enunciated on the rights of the individual and the rule of law as important pillars for any society. It was the British that enunciated the Magna Carta Act in 1215, and it became one of the first documents to ensure the right to a fair trial, recognition of basic rights, and placing limits on absolute power. The American Declaration of Independence echoed the ideals that life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness are cardinal to all. The French were not left out, as in 1789, the French Declaration on the Rights of Man and the Citizen proclaimed the liberty, equality, and fraternity of all persons. This declaration of the French actually was later embedded in the Bill of Rights of the United States of America in 1791. These lofty declarations, however, did not stop slavery and colonialism, which were some of the worst forms of human degradation, and the atrocities and other rights violations that were heightened during the Second World War, which actually compelled the world to usher in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. The world adopted through the General Assembly of the United Nations the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, which has today permeated and served as an inspiring source for for all human rights instruments we know today. Under its fourth article, it states, and I quote, "All human beings are born free and equal in rights and dignity. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood." Quotations close. Almost all African countries, including the Gambia, upon gaining independence, adopted the principles enshrined in the Declaration in their respective constitution. The Universal Declaration has also influenced regional human rights instruments, such as the African Charter on Human and People's Rights, otherwise known as the Banjul Charter, which was adopted in 1981. The Charter has lived up to its expectations, and the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, which is headquartered here in Banjul, and the African Court on Human and People's Rights were actually the creation of the Banjul Charter. It is imperative to underscore that it was under the leadership of Sir Dawda Jawara as president during the First Republic that the Gambia, together with other African countries, co-sponsored the establishment of the African Charter on Human and People's Rights in 1979. In fact, it was a recognition of the important role demonstrated by the Gambia that the Charter was unanimously called the Banjul Charter on Human and People's Rights. It was also in Banjul that the draft provisions of the Charter were negotiated and concluded before its final adoption by the authority of heads of state and government of the then OAU, Organization of African Unity. I'm giving this background because it is very fitting that today, as we launch the book, the publication, The Gambia, A Beacon of Democracy, that we get to the roots of where we started and the role that this country played in establishing a pattern of human rights on the African continent. So it's therefore fitting we celebrate and launch the publication. We are practicing the tenets and principles of democracy before 1994, when most of our neighbors were engulfed in coup d'etats or one-party states. It was rather unfortunate that 1994 actually interrupted our democratic process. Ladies and gentlemen, Your Excellencies, as a country that has experienced over 2 decades of totalitarian rule, characterized by large-scale violations and abuses of human rights, we decided to respond by strengthening and consolidating human rights in the Gambia and undertaking an extensive legislative and institutional reform agenda. As part of our legislative reform agenda to modernize our laws and bring them in conformity with international best practices, a number of new legislations have been proposed for enactment by the National Assembly. In fact, most of these legislations that I'm about to detail out are presently before the National Assembly. And these include the Criminal Offences Bill, the Criminal Procedure Code Bill, the Prohibition of Torture Bill, which will criminalize acts of torture for the first time in the Gambia, an international crimes bill to cover mass atrocity crimes like genocide, war crimes, and anti-corruption, war crimes and crimes against humanity rather, also an access to information bill, as well as an anti-corruption bill. The Children's Act and Sexual Offences Act are also under review and would hopefully very soon find their way to the National Assembly. And in addition, all laws deemed discriminatory against women and girls and the girl child have actually been examined and placed before the National Assembly for enactment, amounting to 13 in number, and out of which 5 have already been enacted and passed by the National Assembly. You are all aware of the significant reforms that have been initiated to transform the Gambia to a stable democracy where good governance and respect for the rule of law and human rights will prevail. Your Excellency, we established an independent National Human Rights Commission as a vanguard to promote and defend the rights of all. We went to a considerable length to ensure that we have the Gambians with the requisite qualifications, experience, and competence to take up the appointment as commissioners. In fact, this is evident given the fact that within a 2-year lifespan, this commission has been able to make its impact felt in this country and be able to deliver on very salient aspects of its mandate. I must congratulate you, Your Excellency Chairman, and your commissioners, as well as the Executive Secretary and the Secretariat, for a job well done. We are of the firm conviction that the National Human Rights Commission will not only accelerate change in the human rights landscape of this country, but will contribute significantly to the socio-economic and cultural development of this country. The COVID-19 pandemic and the declaration of a state of national public emergency at some point compelled the National Human Rights Commission to postpone to 2021 most of the outreach activities it earmarked for implementation in 2020. Despite these challenges, the Commission made significant progress, as already highlighted by the chairperson and other speakers, particularly in the advisory notes it prepared and delivered in consonance with its mandate to make recommendations to government concerning compliance of national legislation with international treaty obligations. Advisory notes on the following were issued: the right to freedom of assembly and association vis-a-vis the Public Order Act on sexual harassment, and I believe today we'll be launching the major report on sexual harassment. Detailed guidelines for policing public assemblies were also issued, and the Commission has made significant contributions to the 2020 draft constitution as well as to the elections bill. Another area where the Commission has taken a very firm stand has been on the caste system-based discrimination in the Gambia. And we must commend you for the bold initiatives and steps that you have taken also in this direction. Recognizing the important role played by civil society organizations in creating public awareness on human rights issues, the Commission established the Civil Society Dialogue Platform on Human Rights to ensure the meaningful participation of CSOs in the monitoring of human rights issues. Its 2019 annual report was also completed and submitted to the National Assembly Standing Committee on Human Rights. In fact, I need not dilate on this further because it's now overtaken by events, since you will now be submitting another annual report and list and statement of your activities to the National Assembly. In fact, this is highly commendable because most organizations hardly ever are timely in their presentation of annual reports and statement of activities, especially in preparation for delivery to the National Assembly Standing Committee. So definitely, Mr. Chair, I would like to tap you on the back for being on your toes. It's an opportune moment to commend the National Human Rights Commission for the good work it has embarked upon since its inception. Your Excellencies, honorable members of the National Assembly, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, today we are here to launch significant aspects of the work of the National Human Rights Commission that would enhance its efficacy and effectiveness in executing its functions under its enabling act. Now, these relate to publications on certain tools, namely the website, which was developed, the 5-year strategic plan, and Honorable Deputy Executive Secretary, please guide me if I'm not listing everything that I believe I am intended to also launch on behalf of the Honorable Minister. If I may have them in order, I have the website, the 5-year strategic plan, and the 2 major publications, A Beacon of Democracy and the report on sexual harassment in the workplace, as well as the case management database system. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair. On behalf of the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, it is my pleasure to launch these publications and tools of the National Human Rights Commission. And in the same vein, of course, I would like to declare these proceedings open. I thank you for your kind attention, and I wish you all a very good day. Thank you very much.
Touching on the background of human rights, and also highlighting the legislations being enacted. Thank you also for giving the reasoning behind the establishment of the National Human Rights Commission. Please extend our warmest regards to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice. That brings us to the end of the official opening of this event. Thank you very much.
Love like fire. Wow. Love like fire. Xam ngeen rek affaire bi xam ngeen fan la? Skincare la. 2020 lañ wax de. Waaw. Fii nag mooy Kerr fan, Kerr zero tache. Perfect skin. Skincare saa su ne rek niñ ko dee defee rek. Loo lañ soxlaati rek. Maanaam bu ngeen am problème ci seen skin yéen xam ngeen fan la fii ngeen di ñëw suma xarit yeeg am di jàmm yi nga xam ne taas daf lañ sonaloon xam nga doon xeesal ba la ka xum éneew ma lañ ko nag waaye just in case comme ni ko gars yi di waxee rek en cas just in case loolu xew xam ngeen fi ngeen di ñëw Skincare Plus si yu baax rek la ñoo dox nag ay baax rek fu ne la ñoo dem ci réew mi di lañ indi rek nag products yu baax du Paris du Italie du USA du fi mu nekk nii sax boole nañ ci nag Sweden fu nekk lañ leen a indilee products bu dee tamit nag da nga ñuul rek ñu lay jamaa natural beauty that melanin dripping we do have stuff for you as well emuñ si skincare products rek ñu ngi ci cuub yi tamit fu ne la ñoo jaar in fact sax last commercial bi ñu defoon waxuñ leen woon dañoo dox ci ay kawar 9A grade rek nag waaw we do have bundles as well hair si lu ne la ñoo dox ñun ñu ngi ci rafetal jigéen rek luy taaral jigéen rek waaw boo leen di tukki tamit bëggoon rek classic suitcase ñu dañoo dox ci ay Samsonite duñ dee indi any brand of suitcases though other than Samsonite comme li ma dee wax rek boo eggee airport dëri Samsonite dafa am nuñ laa xoolee waaw ngeen ne lan nag waaw skin ci moom la ñu gën a xamee nag skincare products ci moom la ñu gën a xamee ñu ngi dox tamit bentee tamit si ay dàlla man waaye man nag skincare mooy suma specialty xam nga rek jigéen bu sa xar kanam réglé loo def mu jag am nañ Patricia Reiner, Kiwi Eye, the whole range, Lighten Up Gold, Tomatine. I mean, the list can just go on and on and on and on. lépp loo xam ne rek luy taaral jigéen la ci yooyu rek la ñoo dox Skincare Plus nag emuñ si Gambia rek ñu ngi United States ñu ngi Gambia fii ba pare bu dee yaa ngi anywhere in Europe mun nañ la ko mail within 3 days rek ñetti fan rek nga jot say diw emuñ si loolu rek dañ laa consult tamit balaa ñu laa jaay diw dinañ def a free consultation pour wax la rek exactly li nga xam ne moo méngoo ak sa kanam dinañ leen wax tamit ne rek am nañ perfumes fragrances men's shirts accessories We do dresses as well. We do blouses. I mean, we do shoes. Name it, we do them. Skincare Plus 2020 is our year of perfection. Zero task. Fi mu nekk nii réew mi fii kenn waratu fi task. Kenn waratu fi am problème kanam. Kenn waratu fi am problème picca. Boo ko amee dafa fekk ne rek ñëwuloo ci place bi fii.
Love, love, love like fire. Bring my yobo guma fire. Love, 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 love like fire.
I get it.
Mbijan raganyadi.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyinji.
Okay. Korsan. Nsila ID soto.
Sa soto. Sorry. I get it.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Mbale.
Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Birim koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe to.
56 branches mola sota Gambia jang.
Ha?
Gambia kono anin Gambia bantala bankol. Nka kodo kiya bere to. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maraw. Jannam number 1 di nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat. Gambia dawda yalo ma fa kendol sotale je.
Wo moyo diat.
Apelenta
ni wo ka ni lafta nyelen kendol e bina.
Yalo bu kanyi la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.
We live in a day and age where technology is creating a world without borders, filled with unlimited potential to improve the lives of the people around us. Innovarex Global Health ushers in a new way of leveling the playing field with increased access to quality healthcare services delivered at your doorstep. Our qualified professionals are equipped with state-of-the-art point-of-care testing technology to conduct tests such as kidney function, liver function, electrolyte tests, body composition, hemoglobin, A1C, and many more services with the highest efficiency in delivering results. The addition to our flagship Wellness on Wheels, more fondly known as WOW Delivery Service, brings the entire clinical experience full circle. IGH has remained committed to creating the future of healthcare delivery. Gone are the days of sending loved ones outside the country for basic medical services. Innovarex Global Health offers a new peace of mind and takes pride in delivering the quality of care we all deserve.